Jase Onfoy was born on January 23, 1998 in Plantation, Florida. His childhood was marked by turbulence. His father was incarcerated for much of his youth, and his mother struggled to provide stability. Ja spent much of his early life under the care of his grandmother, who tried to keep him grounded, but the anger inside of him was already boiling. He was expelled from multiple schools for fighting, and by his early teens, he was already drifting towards the streets. In 2012, at just 14 years old, Ja was arrested for possession of marijuana. That charge landed him in a juvenile detention, a turning point in his life. Behind those walls, he met another troubled teenager named Stokely Goborn, better known as Ski Mask Slump God. The two bonded instantly over their love of rap, anime, and dark humor. What started as freestyling in the detention center grew into a brotherhood that would later shape the underground rap scene. When they were released, they promised to pursue music together instead of slipping deeper into crime. True to their word, Ja and Ski Mask began recording songs, experimenting with sounds that doesn't fit the mold of traditional hip-hop. They formed the collective Members Only in 2014, a group that became a breeding ground for raw and experimental talent. XXXTentacion music stood out immediately. His tracks were distorted, aggressive, and filled with emotion. He wasn't just rapping, he was screaming his pain into the mic, channeling all the rage and trauma from his childhood into sound. By 2016, X underground buzz exploded with the release of Look At Me. The track was chaotic, distorted, and impossible to ignore. It spread like wildfire across SoundCloud and social media, turning him into the face of the SoundCloud rap movement. Suddenly, the kid who sat into a juvenile detention was a viral sensation, but fame came with a price. His legal troubles and violent past followed him into the spotlight, sparking endless debates about whether he was a genius, a menace, or both. Despite the controversy, his music connected with millions. His debut album, 17, was stripped down and vulnerable, tracking depression, heartbreak, and suicidal thoughts. It shocked the industry by debuting at number 2 on the Billboard charts. His follow-up showcased his versatility, jumping from rap to rock to acoustic ballads, and debuted at number 1, cementing him as one of the most influential young artists of his generation. But Ja says life was always a contradiction. He spoke about wanting to change, about spreading positivity and helping others, yet his past continued to haunt him. He donated to charities, reached out to fans struggling with mental health, and promised to become a better man. Still, the shadow of his violent history lingered, and the debate over his chapter never stopped. On June 18, 2018, Ja's story came to a tragic end. As he left a motorcycle dealership in Deerfield Beach, Florida, he was ambushed by armed men in broad daylight. Shots rang out, and the 20-year-old artist was killed. The news sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Fans gathered outside the dealership, mourning a life that was cut short. Social media erupted with tributes, arguments, and disbelief. In death, XXXTentacion became even larger than he was in life. His unfinished projects were released posthumously, his words dissected, his image immortalized. To some, he became a martyr of his generation that felt unseen and unheard. To others, his legacy remained tainted by the violence and allegations that followed him. But one thing is undeniable. X changed the sound of rap forever. His fusion of genres, his emotional vulnerability, and his willingness to bear his emotions opened the door for a new wave of artists who follow into his footsteps. Today, Ja's unfortunate story is remembered as both a tragedy, a revolution, a boy who grew up in chaos, who found his closest collaborator in the detention cell, and who turned his pain into music that shook the world. His life was short, his impact immense, and his legacy, like his music, remains raw, complicated, and unforgettable.